Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton ClubCall. Get your calls into us if you're on Patreon. The link is in. It's there. You can call from anywhere you are in the world via your phone, your laptop,
your iPad, anything.
Not anything. Not not a brick.
Well, old phones you should refer to as a brick.
I don't know where that would work. I don't know if you had a Nokia with snake on it, whether you could get.
No,
I don't think you
true,
can.
yeah.
It has to have internet and stuff.
Yeah.
And but as long as we can hear you, that's the main thing.
That is the main thing.
So get in touch with us on Patreon. Obviously, international break. We obviously just found out that Andres Townsend is his ACL. It was expected after seeing him on Sunday in a bad way he was. And he'll be out for some time, won't he? It's a bitter blow. It's a real bitter blow for someone of his age, that. Yeah. Really, really bad.
He come to the club, hadn't he, and was excited and was doing well, relatively well, good part of the squad. And he suffered this blow. And it's a blow to Frank Lampard, because he's a reliable, dependable player, and also someone who could come off the bench and weigh in with a goal, which he proved in the cup game against Brentford and stuff. Came off the bench and last one in, didn't he? And that was his strength. So it's very disappointing.
Yeah,
really.
Especially for someone who's only got a 2-year deal as well. When's he? He mightn't be back till Christmas time, because it is a bad one. Some of them take longer. It is a really, really bad one. So be a bitter blow for him and his career, and just another one for us, another bad injury for us. So sad
one, really. Gary Waters howdy, and Gaz says, "Oh, hi, live of 5:30." Gary says, "I'm still laughing from the Daily Live extra."
Yeah, the Daily Live extra was amazing.
That was unbelievable.
And
Andy Walker says, "Me too, Gary. It was pure class."
It was pure
Ned
comedy.
At his best.
It was Ned at his very best. And then after we went off air, Ned revealed a few more details to us, which basically meant we spent the whole afternoon on the couch having a bit of a therapy session.
It was a therapy session. Yeah. Paige went home. Paige just had to go, didn't she?
It
was a bit like this morning, I felt.
Well, we were on the two couches.
Yeah.
And you obviously Phil. You got Phil straight away.
Yeah, Phil. She ate a holly at times.
Well, that's been said.
Yeah. And Ned opened up. So what'd you say? What
Ned
can
playing
you
the
say?
role of Fred the Weatherman.
He was there. Ned was just opening up, wasn't he? And there was tears. And
there was tears. There was tears. There was confusion over certain things, mainly his which way he bats.
It was that interesting.
It was very interesting.
Steve Peace says, keep seeing fans saying 100 million for a Charlison, but why would anyone pay 100 million for a player who scored 4 goals all season?
No one would pay 100
If Villa was saying 100 million for Watkins, we'd be calling them delusional.
Yeah,
I think 60 is maximum for a Charlison.
Yeah, I think what we think these players are going to get and what they're actually worth are two different things. And also, don't forget as well, there's always this thing of I see this with Jack Grealish, when Manchester City paid 100 million because that was his buyout clause. But also, if it wasn't his buyout clause, you pay. I've seen Declan Rice 150 million. Declan Rice is not worth 150 million, but he's worth 150 million to West Ham. He's a once in a generational player for them. That they have to, if they don't want to sell him because they're looking upwards. So if they sell him, it has to be at a huge figure that they have to be compensated for him, but also be able to go and buy somebody else. And you couldn't buy many players of his ability for that kind. We need a lot of money. So it's always what it's worth to you as a club. But the problem with Everton is Everton are in a situation where, even if we stay up, we're still in a sticky situation because everybody knows what our FFP situation is. So clubs will come to us and go, "I'll give you 35 for a Richarlison." We go, "No," and they go, "All right then." You're stuck with
I'd just go. I'd say sound. Yeah.
No, I know, but
we'll get 35 next summer for him, and he's worth more to us.
The problem is though, is that Everton are going to have to sell either Dom or a Charlison, and I'd imagine it'll be Dom.
Yeah.
But if Arsenal come in and offer less than what we want for him, we're going to have to negotiate. We're not going to be... I can't imagine we're going to be able to stick to our guns, especially because we need so many new players that we know we need to sell someone like Dom.
We're going to get a bonus in the summer, aren't we? We're going to get 30 million euros we didn't think we were getting for another 12 months because Juventus want Moise Kean gone. Apparently PSG want to buy him. So we'll get that 30 million we didn't think we were going to get. So that's a big boost for us that we didn't realise. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, I would just say to Arsenal that that's the price. He's still got 3 years left on his contract. So if you want to, you don't want the player, that's fine. But that's how much it is. If you want him and you want to get it done and it's all sorted, it's whatever Everton value, man. 70 million, 65 million, 75 million, whatever. But you tell them, we're not selling for any less. So you're going to be wasting your time because he's under contract for another 3 seasons. If you want it done, we're happy to sell him, but that's the price. We've done it. We've ended up having to pay over the odds for players because we've wanted them. And it's about sticking to your guns, isn't it? At the end of the day. If we go down, it's a different conversation because then they know they can come and take them on the cheap. Yeah. Which will be a huge blow. Gaz says, my one consolation about that shit show on Sunday was that I'd already priced up Wembley for the Easter weekend. I was looking at £1,000 for travel, hotel, tickets and spends for me, missus and the lad. Now we're going to Spain for 3 nights and it'll cost me less and I don't have to watch Everton humiliate themselves. Can hopefully watch City beat Liverpool in the warm weather with a few cold beers. Yeah. It's no contest really, is it? No. Adam says, still can't get my head around why Patterson and Michalenko being overlooked. There is not a chance they are worse than the others. But I think they need to play more in an attacking sense. Every man and his dog knows how we play. At least if they play with a licence to go forward, it creates more problems for the opposition. It's easy to defend against fullbacks that get a nosebleed when they cross the halfway line. Absolutely. Well, hopefully Patterson, he's gone away with Scotland. Stephen Naismith said some good stuff about him. So hopefully he'll go and play well for Scotland, and Frank Lampard will see it and think, oh, he's had a couple of good games there, that's good. Hopefully he'll come back with a bit of confidence and be able to force his way into the side. Yeah. We need the energy. We need someone that can run up and down. If he wants to play 3 centre-backs, play Seamus as the right-sided centre-back. If you want his leadership in the team. The lad then hasn't got to bomb it up and down for 90 minutes. He played there before. Carlo played him there before and he was decent.
Yeah. No, I do find the whole thing very strange. I do find it very, very strange. I don't understand how you can play Seamus twice in the space of 3 days.
No, it was weird.
I just find that very, very strange. I just find it weird.
No, it is a bit weird because he's knackered. You got to protect him as well, especially if he's the leader. Frank Lampard says he is. You can't be risking. That could have easily been him doing his knee in. Like Townsend, because of fatigue, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Paz says if we play 3 at the back, if we play 3 at the back, Seamus should be the right-sided defender with him coaching Patterson on the right wing throughout the game. Seems obvious. Doesn't it?
Yeah, but the problem with that is then if you do play 3 at the back, then you can't play 3 in midfield.
No, but I think what Paz is saying is Frank Lampard seems to love that formation. So if we're going to play it, then we need to make sure. Everton's issue is when you play 3 at the back, your full-backs have got to be able to go up and down all day long because that's what it does. And ours is John Joe Kenny who gets to the halfway line and turns back, and Seamus that can't do it. So you're playing a formation you want, but your full-backs aren't doing what the formation needs. So then the emphasis becomes on the 2 lads in midfield. And on Sunday, when one of them lads in midfield is Andre Gomez, you play him with 1 man in midfield and someone that just looks good in the kit.
I really hope, and I don't know whether he will or not, but I really hope Patterson does play for Scotland because I want to see. I've seen him before, and I know he's a good player, but I really want to watch him play because I know the Premier League's a different beast to international football, but surely it's not that much of a step to where you look at and go, well, he's got no chance. That's nowhere near the level. So I want to see him playing in a couple of international games because I understand this, and managers, you bring a player in and he's one for the future and all that kind of thing. But for a manager to completely bomb him out and think that he's not good enough, completely not good enough to be on the bench for some games, or not good enough to play the last 20 minutes of a game when you're getting beat 2-0, I find that extraordinary. I really do. I find that extraordinary. And now, listen, it's happened before, and we've gone. It's the old hide and tell syndrome, isn't it? You're better when you're out the team. But this is a young lad that plays international football, has played in European competitions. Like, he's not dross. He's obviously a good player. And I just find that baffling. You can't tell me someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, when he was like 16, 17, 18, was breaking into the Liverpool team, was amazing every single game. He wasn't,
was he?
You can't tell me. He grew in the team. He got in because Klein was injured. And he put him in, and he was obviously good and a very talented footballer. But you can't tell me he was doing.
Well, he was in and out with Gomez. Joe Gomez was playing right back, and he was in and out. But he grew, and now he's Liverpool's probably like their most important player. Really.
I do find that extraordinary.
Russ says, hello, gents, Leeds fan here. In my honest opinion, 35 to 37 points needed this season. Looking at Everton's remaining fixtures, can you see yourselves getting another 10 points to 12? Russ, really. Home games have got probably what is going to do it for Everton. You know, there's games against Leicester, Crystal Palace and Brentford. They're, for me, Palace, they're three very winnable games to me. And then we've got United and Chelsea. Well, Everton are capable of getting a draw out of one of those two. And then that'd put us needing 1 or 2 points away from home out of 18. We go to Burnley and we go to Watford. If we can't scrape a point in both of those games, then and that's then accepting the other 4 games as defeats. So I can see Everton getting it, but it'll be tight. I don't say we'll easily get that, because we won't easily get it, but I can see us getting it because those games are there to be won. But it'll be tough. It'll be very, very tough. There's no doubt about it.
Everton fan KJB on the super chat, thank you, says just need to find some consistency home and away. But do we need though to find almost two different systems, home and away? One, that when we play away, we are tight. We play away where we defend on the edge of our box, which suits the likes of Michael Keane. We pack the midfield and we try and make it a dogfight. And then at home, we're obviously playing more on the front foot, trying to get the win. Because I just think that we've got to be looking to be picking up points away from home here or there. And when I say points, I mean, a point here, a point there. Because obviously we got to make sure Burnley don't beat us, and we got to make sure Watford don't beat us. But also there's other games where you think, right, well, can we nick a point here? Can we nick a point there? Do you know what I mean? Or just try and stop the opposition from. Because I just think that, I think if we're guilty of anything, it is not adapting to the situation we're in. And don't get me wrong, listen, Rafa Benitez was called out for the negativity, but you can play negative football, the problem with Rafa was he played negative football, but there was no end result. If you're going to play that kind of football, you've got to scrape points like we did when we went to Chelsea. So for me, I think you can't be open. I mean, we go to somewhere like Anfield and we're open. You can imagine what the end result's going to be. So we've got to be a little bit more resolute away from home.
Liverpool will destroy us if we play open, like properly destroy us.
Come on, let's get your calls in, patrons. Where are you? I know it's an international
full deal here.
I know. Where are you? Where are you? I'm in the entry. So let's get a couple of calls in. But where's the regulars to get us going?
Where's Ahmed? Where's Astro? Where's Degsy?
Come on, let's get a couple on. Let's hear your voice. Because I know what? There'll be a few of us out there who'll be angry as anything over what's going on. All right, you might have calmed down, but this is your opportunity to get that anger out. Get it out. You don't want to be bottling her up. Get that anger out.
Feel better.
Come on.
Steve P says, if we do sell Calvert-Lewin, I'm praying we finally sign a good replacement. Armando Brozier would be perfect, but not sure if that's going to be possible now. 4 years younger than Dom. Well, if Everton stay up, it'll be very possible. I don't see Chelsea making him one of their strikers next season. I think they tend to buy what they need. You know, there's links with Haaland.
But you never know, though.
No, you never know.
With the way things are.
Well, possibly, but I think they're going to be owned by a multi-billionaire, so I don't think it's going to really matter. Haaland's been mentioned again with Chelsea. They've still got Rom. So, we'll see. Alex says not possible for Brozier. Well, it is. It is possible for Brozier. If you go down, there isn't. But right now, it's still possible. Stephen Niven says, did Patterson tell Lampard he thought Gerrard was a better manager or something? Seen something here. When are we going to see all the flowery chat that Lampard gives translate itself on the pitch? I think we're worse than before he arrived. Nah, I totally disagree. We're not. We've won 4 out of 6 home games under him. We hadn't done that in 4 months under Benitez. There's no way we're worse than when he arrived. But you're right, some of the stuff he's talking about does have to translate onto the pitch as well. But again, if you look for the common denominator, and the common denominator is the players. Yeah, basic. Just block them all. Unknown Realist says, what's the thoughts on West Ham? West Ham are flying, aren't they?
Doing well.
Having a good season. Again, very solid. Moyes has done a great job there. Yeah. Went in, people didn't want him again. And it's all about just letting them get on with the job. And the minute they did let him get on with the job, he's done a good job. He's improved them. They're in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. If West Ham finish in the top 7 again, it's a really good season for them.
Yeah.
He hasn't had loads of money. Spent money. West Ham have generally spent money over the last few years, but he hasn't spent like crazy amounts of money. No. So they've done well. And
I think they've done very well,
and they've developed Declan Rice, who's brilliant. I think,
now. They're one Chelsea win in the semi-final away from getting Europe again. They're in the quarter-final of it already. They've beat arguably one of the better teams in it already, and they've got it's the Moyes blueprint. It was the blueprint he had when he was with us. You know, we should have got him back. We never, because we dilly and dallied on it. You know, if you're gonna bring a manager back that maybe some fans don't want, or you're gonna bring a manager some fans don't make it Rafa Benitez. Make it David Moyes.
And do it straight away.
You know, and do it straight away. But we didn't, and here we are.
Monster in the summer. We left him.
Yeah, he would have come back. Wouldn't have been any issues. He would have come back.
He stalled, didn't he? Stalled on his contract because he wanted the job.
Would have been a big coup. But we never did it, and that, you know, again, that's the failing of this football club and the people who run it. They're just terrible. Basically, they're just really, really bad. And the quicker we can get shut of them, the better.
Yeah. Patrick said, did Lampard get the tactics wrong on Sunday? I don't think he got the tactics wrong at the start of the game. I think he got his substitution wrong. But in the second half, he definitely did. He didn't respond the way he should have done. And in the second half, definitely got it wrong by putting Anthony Gordon at left wing back and stuff like that. It was poor.
To be honest, though, the tactics in the first 20 minutes was just. It was essentially, you know, just pressing, wasn't it? It was getting on top of them, and the minute the problem with that as a general rule of thumb is, the minute the players stop working hard, it all falls apart, doesn't it? Yeah. I suppose that's the problem. He did actually say that when he was asked about these 2 weeks. He said this is the first time we've had any time to work with them. So, you know, he's got a couple of weeks now, or certainly he's halfway through the first week, to get, you know, loads and loads of repetitive training done to what he wants to do. And I think what we've seen so far under him, and this is because the Premier League is relentless, is there's been no real time to try and implement things that he wants to see. Effort is something you can only get if the players give you it. You can't. It's not a tactic as such. It's like, can you work? It's Homer Simpson, isn't it? Can you work out any harder for us? Yeah, boss. It's like it relies on the players. This is why we're so critical, I think, of the players, is because at the moment, what you really, really want the managers to do, you want the players to respond, and the players once again are not responding to what the manager wants. You know, you look at Leeds last couple of games. Those players are used to hard work. It's not like they got bored doing what Bielsa wanted them to do. It's the fact that the tactics were leaving them wide open because they never had any of their top players available. Well, Marsh just come in and he's like, well, I know you all work hard, so I'll keep asking that of you, because that's second nature. But I want you to be a little bit tighter, or I want you to do this, I want to do that. A fundamental problem with our players are they're all so lazy that getting them to work at a general level is the hardest thing. And this is why Anthony Gordon is head and shoulders above them all, because he doesn't even have to play well. He just works hard and chases and harries, and he does it every single game. So he's elevated himself above all these players. And that, to me, and this is why when I say they cheat and, you know, they're all con men, and maybe stronger words, is because all the manager's asking them to do is work hard, like we saw it against Leeds, and they're not doing it. And that, to me, is when we saw this in the Newcastle game, we saw this in the Southampton game, we saw this in the Spurs game, and we saw this against Crystal Palace. They start well, they either get bored or someone scores against them, and it all goes out the window. And once these players stop working hard, it's gone.
That's it.
So, you know, what can the manager do other than the problem with the managers as well is the players. He hasn't got that many players to count on, so it's not like he can go, you're out, you're not bad, I'm putting him in. You can't do that. Michael Keane's been out the team and then comes back in the team. You know, there are a few wins, and as we said, there things like Patterson, but he's saying he's not ready. So what can we do? Maybe getting someone like Delph back might help. No, I know, but that's the mad position we're in. You add him to midfield and you say to him, Allen, and maybe Decore or whatever. Right, you get in the 3 for away games and you make it really difficult and you kick anything that moves. This is where we are.
He'll last the game.
No, we will.
Gaz says got tickets for the United game, just realised it's Grand National Day. Are you surprised the police are allowing a big local fixture on that day?
No, because they actually did a Liverpool game a couple of years, 3 years ago, and it was a 5:30 kickoff. So that makes it even worse, because that's when most people are leaving Aintree, and most people will be going into Anfield, and the proximity of those two places actually cross over in terms of rail and roads. So that, and being in town, people would have been pouring into town for the Liverpool game and Aintree. So everywhere would have been utter bedlam. So for an Everton game, no, I'm not surprised. I think it used to happen years ago, I think.
Yeah, well, we should kick off for 11 o'clock on, or 11:30 on Grand National Day, and then the race was at 3:20.
Yeah.
So that's what, and the players used to, if it was a home game, would go straight from the game to the national. Keith says at ACL at 30 is a serious injury. Feel for him. Nice guy and squad member. He'll be missed. Good luck, Anzos. And says, don't be too sure. We get that extra 28 million for Moise Keane, as we're dealing with the mafia. After all, it's written in a contract, mate. So I think we're going to get it. They're obligated to pay it, mate. Kane says, still gutted after Sunday. Can't believe we have a set of players who give up after we go a goal down. It's a disgrace from top to bottom with the club. Personally, I would still protest against this board and how this club is run outside of the ground, because I think these clowns are getting away with murder. Our club is up in flames and nobody is putting the fire out. We deserve to go down, lads, this season. The players deserve it, but we as fans don't. Waking up at 5 a.m. for long away days, thousands of pounds spent for utter shite. It's draining and I can't wait until the end of May. I hope we stay up, but I just can't see it with these players. Gaz says, what a great time to be an Evertonian. Yes, it's an international break. It is nice, isn't it, just to think, no stress this weekend. You know, the game's done.
Horrible that though, isn't it?
Oh, what a horrible. You should be looking forward to it.
What a horrible way to support your football club, thinking I can't wait till there's no games.
Lose, yeah.
That's horrible, isn't it? That's like, you know, when you think about it, going to the match should be something to enjoy. It should be something that, yes, you have the stresses of football,
but they should be nice stresses, because they're not not important.
Funny enough, I was mentioned this to you before. I was watching there's a documentary on Sky about the teams who the break to go to Super League, and one of the things he was saying is that he was saying it's the uncertainty that has led this by those people the uncertainty of what if you're not you're not stuck in a league, you could be relegated. But he said, but that's what is so good about the Premier League as well, is that the jeopardy makes it the stress both ways.
Yeah.
So of course, yeah, there is a stress, but for us, that stress is being added to by the way the football club is run, because a lot of us aren't thinking, oh, Everton could be relegated. A lot of us are thinking Everton could be relegated, and then that could be the end of Everton for a while because of the financial situation we find ourselves. And whether that's a real thing or not comes down to the people again who run the club. But I don't trust anyone at the football club at the moment. So therefore, if Everton were relegated and then there's a shortfall of X amount of money, I don't expect those players to make it up. And with everything else that's going on, with the situation, the links between obviously Farhad Mashiri and Usmanov and Ukraine and everything, you know, is money going to dry up? Is he going to be looking for it out? Is he going to stop investing in the club while he's in this situation? Whether they're real things or not, we all think them. You had the stadium on top of that. All these things are stresses. And no matter how many times someone can say to you, don't worry, it'll be fine, or you'll stay up, or nah, we'll be fine. If we go down, we'll come back up straight away. Nobody can tell you that, because in your own head, you get lost in your own head, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It's a very, very worrying time. Very worrying time.
Derek Polahonki says Rafa wasn't just a bad choice because of results. He was a bad choice because of what he did to our best players. Got rid of James, or James rather, Keane and Dean. Sure, he brought in Gray, but I would rather have those three than Gray. And I truly loved Amari. Yeah, well, I think once Carlo went the right, even though James has said he would have stayed and all that, once Benitez come in, James was always going, wasn't he? And for those wages, over 200 grand a week, Everton simply can't afford it. Dean, Luca Dean was, that could have been avoided. Moise Keane, well, Carlo never played him, did he? You know, Carlo didn't like him, and he was Italian manager, knew all about him. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that have gone on with Benitez, and it was more damaging, not only results, but the feeling around the club and everything else. Adam says, I don't want Dom or Richie to go, but if selling them meant we could bring in half a dozen or more quality, young, hungry and reasonably priced players, I would sell them in a heartbeat. That's the way people are looking at it now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because you've got it. Gaz says, Dom needs quality from wide areas and putting it on a plate. Adam, which we don't offer. I think we could do much more with the money. Don't get me wrong, he would bag a lot in the right team, but not in this team, is my opinion. Well, we stopped crossing the ball to him, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is something we've got to do. Otherwise he's not going to score the goals we need him to score. And we do need him to score some goals for us. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't.
And one of our patrons, come on, give us a call. I can all understand.
Where's Steve Kelly?
I can understand you've all switched off a little bit from Everton. You just want a nice chilled out. Yeah, I appreciate that. Come on, one of you give us a call. So you're not just listening to me and Baz.
Yeah, give us a different perspective.
Come on.
Give us a different perspective.
Ring up and tell us why you absolutely love international break.
Yeah.
Because you love watching international football. Let us know. Let us know.
Rafa Benitez fan says Lampard have lost 6 of his 7 PL games on XG, and his 20th for taking over, 19th for an 18th for goal XGA. Are you surprised how bad he's been in the league since taking over? No, because we were that bad before he took over.
We'd won one game.
Won one game in 14 under Rafa Benitez. Absolutely abysmal. So no, not really, because like I've said all week, I'm not prepared to throw another manager under the bus for these players. These players, if something is continually wrong and you've tried many different solutions, you'd have to look at the problem in the first place. And the one constant in all of these managers is the players. So, therefore, it's the players who are the issue.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Right, we've got John on the line. Is right, John. John's give us a call. Oh, it's Astro. I thought you put John.
No, I'm taking John off.
Oh, Astro's giving us a cut. Well, there you go.
It's Astro.
Astro, are you there, mate? Can't hear him, Ned.
Yeah.
Here he is.
What's up?
There he is. Go on.
Can you
Go
hear me
on,
now?
big.
We
I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you
now.
now, big man.
Hear me now.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Yeah. You guys got a net. You got a leash on the net after this morning, huh?
Oh, mate. What a daily live extra that was. Ned at his best.
That rivaled some of the greatest AOBs that have ever been done, and that says something because those are some adventurous conversations.
Oh yes. The conversations that we had afterwards were even bigger. If we actually, one of the red men came in and was like, "Why don't you just put this on live now? Because you just would make internet history."
Yeah.
But we couldn't. We couldn't do that.
It was confidential, but it was incredible as well. But anyway, go on, mate. Where are you up to?
Understood. No, oh, you know what? I tell you what, I'm having one of them, just wicked busy. And like I was sitting here and I finally got caught up to where I could put the show on, and I saw that you didn't have anybody queued up. I tell you what, like I've been thinking about it over the last few weeks, and what I've come up with, or not last few weeks, I thought about it over the last few days. Like when something is like, when you have a problem that's really, really complex, we're always taught in my line of work to basically, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. How was Rome built? Brick by brick. So one thing at a time. And I think that, like, you know, people love acronyms. There's like the KISS acronym, keep it simple, stupid, right? And I think that the best way for the club to go forward in like every single thing that we do from now until the end of the season is to keep it simple and to pick things off one thing at a time. Like we can't seem to stop a set piece. So for the next, you know, however many, you know, days of training we've got before West Ham, you practice set pieces. You know, I don't know. Make sure everybody knows what their assignment is, what they're going to do in this situation, what they're going to do in that situation. You literally dumb it down to the lowest common denominator, and once that's good, then we can maybe add something, right? And get everybody I don't know, get them fit, get them sharp, get them recaged, and maybe that'll be a way for us to, I don't know, maybe just level out and get out of this nosedive that we're in. Because we kind of go like peaks and valleys, right? You know, we're up and then we're down, we're up and then we're down, and it's just a bit of it's like being trapped on a roller coaster you can't get off of. And you get honked everywhere, and you know what I mean? And you just want to be done with it, but you keep getting rattled up and down, so. No, I think that there needs to be an appeal to common sense and just say, hey, basics. We're going to go back to basics from now until the end of the season. And in the summer, we're going to reset. If I'm going to tell you right now, if 60% of that squad walked out the door in the summer, bye, Felicia. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to miss you. Get some good money for them. Reinvest with players whose attitudes and mentalities are more in line with that of the club and the current manager, and let's just have a different kind of go at it next year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Everton have got to be formulating the plan right now, with Kevin Felwell of what they need and who they need to try and get rid of, and hopefully they have got that plan. And whatever happens, we stick to it because we got to have a plan. And then you execute that plan and you try and do that as best you possibly can instead of bringing, you know, players in here and players in there. Have something to go forward with. And, I don't think it would take much to get this side up the table if we had a blank sheet of paper. But it has to be done. And it has to be done, obviously, within the Premier League. And you're right, we have to go back to basics. We have to, and that's hopefully what this time creates. This 2 weeks is set pieces over and over and over and over again. Set pieces defensively and offensively. And you're right, get back to basics. Get back to doing your job without complicating it, because that's what it's going to take now to win games of football. Just doing the basics, because they're not good enough to do anything more.
Nothing fancy. Like, honest to goodness, nothing fancy. And I read an article in The Athletic today from Greg O'Keefe and Patty Boylan, and it basically just said, pick a formation and stick to it.
Yeah.
pick the most basic formation, and obviously that's got to be 3 men in the midfield. Okay, you know what I mean. You pick a formation and you stick with it. And if people aren't cutting it, then they have to be taken out, and you have to put somebody in who can do that job. Obviously, our we're old Mother Hubbard, and the cupboard is bare when it comes to center backs and center defensive midfielders. But we've got to figure out how to put a decent picture together out of the mixed match of puzzle pieces of a squad we've got. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it.
I'm just repeating what everybody already knows. I hate to rehash it, but that's where we're at.
That's exactly where we're at, isn't it? To get out of this mess, you can't fix the rest of it till we get out of this mess. It's even simple things like you can't even plan pre-season because we're in a mess. So to get out of this one, we have just got to look at which fire we can put out first and then keep going through the house, putting the next one out and the next one out and the next one out. But we all say it, don't we? Go back to basics, get men behind the ball, grind out some results. Until we do it. And these players have to stand up. Astro, don't they? They have to stand up. We can't keep throwing managers in the bin and going, it's his fault now. No. And then it's his fault now. And then it's his fault now. And the hope that one day we pick one that there's a wand.
There's a sense of ownership, right, and responsibility that comes, like, for you and the job that you do. You guys obviously have it with Toffee TV. I have it in my multiple jobs that I do, right? And when you don't do something good enough or you don't know the answer, you have to put your hand up and say, hey, that's my fault. I need to fix that. Or I don't know. Can somebody show me? And there's a sense of ownership, right, and pride in what you do. And that for some reason lacks out of this body of players that we have. And obviously that body of players has changed, but there's been a core that stayed the same, and it's something rotten in there. And I don't know where it is, but you're 100% right. Listen, do I have questions for Frank Lampard tactically? Absolutely, because the way we chased that game in the second half on Sunday didn't make a bit of sense to me. And if it stood out to me as wrong, then it must have really jumped off the screen at everybody else who's a bit more football savvy than I am. So when you think about it, like moving forward, I don't know. The manager has a bit of responsibility that he has to take, but the majority of this is on these players, and I don't know how half of them can look themselves in the mirror. I mean, they're honestly stealing a wage, and they're not putting. I don't know. They may be putting it in on the training ground, but they sure aren't. They sure aren't showing it on the field. And I'll tell you this, right? I've been the kind of guy who's been going out and doing like rally and cry videos, and I've silenced. I had the badge taped up. In SNO, I had it taped up for a really long time. And when Rafa got sacked, I had a couple people say to me, "Hey, let's be positive. Let's give this new guy a chance. Let's get behind the players. Let's go." So I decided that I was going to stop being critical of the club and the failures of the board that I see that are painfully apparent, and as the organization as a whole. As far as the challenges that they face in being a well-run, profitable organization and a winning football club, I've tabled all that. But at the same time, like you can't be silent about it now. You have to look at it and say, okay, look, you get all the rah-rah you're going to get out of me, but you can only go to the well so many times with the fans because it's like a debit credit situation. You know what I'm saying? And they're into our overdraft right now. They're in the overdraft with us fans. Yeah, because think about it. It's getting to the point where it's like, wait a minute, you make 185,000 quid a week. You don't know what worry is, okay? And you drive around in a Lamborghini, and your biggest concern is two of your mates on the team have the same color car. Get out of here with that garbage, okay? These people don't know. I mean, listen, obviously I'm in the U.S., but I know what's going on over there because it's happening to my wife's family. The national health insurance is going up, and then you got energy prices surging, and you got council taxes going up, and you got petrol costing what it does. I mean, people make a real sacrifice of time and treasure to go to that match. And if you're not going to honor that with your performance, then you're more full of shit than a Christmas turkey left sitting outside of July, and you need a slap. And it's just about gone too far now. I'm about fresh out of patience. And I just wish and you know what, Ped, like you hit it the nail on the head. these gang of shitbag sheets need to wake up, realize what's going on, and put a shift in and do their bloody jobs from now until the end of the season. And then they can piss off to Mallorca or the Seychelles or wherever else people with a whole crap load of money go, and they can piss off from whence they came. And you know what we can do? We can sell these jackasses and buy people that actually want to wear the shirt. I never thought I would find myself going, I'd rip your arm off for Tony Hibbert right now. I would I would literally slap my own mama in the teeth to get Leon Osmond back right now in their prime when I saw them playing early in my Everton fandom. It's just it's a real challenge. It's a real challenge, and I'm honest to goodness flabbergasted by the whole thing.
Yeah, it comes down to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on one of them rants.
I appreciate it. We all just want players to have a bit of personal pride in their performances. It's just like, and I do think I've seen this week people have questioned, should Frank Lampard have said what he said? Well, what did he say? All he said was, have these players got bollocks? Mm. Have they got bollocks? He was challenging them.
Yeah.
He didn't say that, and this is the world we live in now. It's like, I'm seeing people go, he'll lose them now. It's like, lose them? Have you watched them? And again, the media, because they don't pay attention to actually what's going on. He never
had them.
They're not. Then how can you watch them play at home against Newcastle? Newcastle wasn't great, but at least they stuck at it, and we got one chance and we took it. But we stuck at it. That's all you can ask for at the moment. And then you go into a game like that and lose against Crystal Palace 4-0. I mean, it's Crystal Palace, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? They're not even like, if it was Crystal Palace and they were like 6th in the league, I'd go, they're having a great season. They've got about 9 more points than us. And we're having the worst season of our lives. Yeah. And apparently they're having the best season of their lives. And that's what makes me laugh. Is that we got beat 4-0 by Crystal Palace, and you hear people go, you can't say bad things about these players. Why can't you say bad things? I'll say it all day and night about all of these players.
All he's doing is pointing out the obvious.
Yeah.
This squad of Everton players, right, they got about as much bollocks as a pack of neutered puppy dogs, okay? They can hump all day, ain't nothing going to happen. I'm just going to tell you flat out, hands down, okay? They ain't got nothing. Nothing. And until they prove it otherwise, they're a pack of neutered puppy dogs that keep pissing in the floor. I mean, and that's the bottom line.
I just watch after them.
And, and bless Frank Lampard for saying that. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. I just watch after them, and I just think to myself.
I'm 43 years old. I was going to say, Pet, I'm sorry. I'm 43 years old with a rebuilt left knee. I'll put my boots on, I'll fly over there, and I'll get on the training pitch, and I'll embarrass 2 or 3 of them, and I'll actually hurt somebody on purpose to prove my point. And I'll actually pay for the privilege. I'll pay for the privilege to kick one of them up the ass right about now.
I just watch some of them, and I just think, what do you want from your career? Like, genuinely what you want from your career, because if you are in it just to make money and just to have a career, then you're not on the right path, because people will see through you and you won't get opportunities. If you want to win things or play for England, you have to massively step it up, or play whatever international country you come from. Yeah. If you want to do anything with your career, the least you can do is try. And I think when anyone questions whether players try or not, is the worst thing anyone can ever say to you. You can have a lack of talent. Lots of footballers will say they never had talent. Gary Neville will say he never had talent, but he'll say he worked harder than anybody else. Phil Neville's got a Champions League medal. Phil Neville's got a Champions League medal because he worked hard, because what he lacked in football ability, he made up for by being the hardest worker on the pitch. Gary Neville, exactly the same. There are lots and lots of players who've made it to the top, who are at the top right now, who aren't anything, in my eyes, special, but they give everything in every single game. Like, look at Liverpool squad at the moment. James Milner, someone like that. James Milner's won the league title at Manchester City and the league title at Liverpool. And when he first came into football, he looked like a bit of a winger. But look at him as a footballer and tell me that he's blessed with all the skills in the world. But what he's blessed with is he's prepared to work harder than anyone else on that football pitch. There's lots of players like that.
Yeah.
And then you have players who play, say, for Man United who have got more talent. Paul Pogba has basically thrown his career away by going back to Manchester United and just walking around the pitch. And has won a couple of things at Manchester United, but has never got to the heights. His talent, okay, he won the World Cup with France, I appreciate that. But in domestic football, has never got to the heights his talent deserves to be, because he decided he couldn't be arsed. And then this is the ultimate thing with football. It's like, you get what you deserve, I think, in football most of the time. I think you, as a player, if you work hard,
your talent should take over.
You know, someone like, look, I mean, you just said it before, like, you look at someone like Tony Hibbert and you just think, that was a lad who had the whole career playing in the Premier League, made great money. And no one would, I don't think, you know, I don't think he would have played for too many other teams. But he worked his bollocks off and he got his rewards. Could we have done better? Maybe, but we never had the money, and then until Seamus come in. But like, that's like the bare minimum, isn't it? Work your bollocks off and you'll at least get that respect.
Yeah,
you'll get respect.
They got it up on the ball in Finch Farm.
Yeah.
Hard work beats the talent when the talent doesn't work hard. And, you know, we don't do, it doesn't matter how much
that's the
talent
bottom
we've
line.
got. We don't work hard enough as a team. It's as simple as possible. It's as simple as that. I mean,
you know, it's 100% right, Baz. It's the person who wants it more and who's willing to work the hardest and to leave the biggest part of themselves on the pitch that's going to win. And I'm going to tell you something. That's not just in football, mate. That's in life. That's in every single thing that we do. Okay? Heart can't be bought and it can't be taught. And when people don't have it, when they're an empty shirt, there's nothing that you can do. Now, you can put people like that in a team that does have heart and that does have character. And the heart and the character will carry players like that. But when you get too many of those, that's what you've seen happen at Manchester United, and that's what you've seen happen at Everton. And we've paid £500 million for the privilege of watching a bunch of like heartless twats walk around in Everton jerseys, and it's Everton kits, and it just does my head in.
Yeah,
because there's people there. I don't know. There's, like I said, there's people who sacrifice their weekends, their treasure, their time to support these guys, and it doesn't even resonate with them. And you know what? I'm to the point now where I'm not going to do a video asking everybody to get up. I tell you what, I'll do a video saying, "Oh, hey players, how about you do your bloody job and give the crowd something to cheer about, because they've carried you. Now it's your turn."
Yeah, and ultimately the fans will always be there. The fans will turn up. The fans will be at the away games. They'll be at the home games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Oh, Astro, thanks for your call,
Nick,
mate.
as always.
Thanks for having me, guys. I wish I could have been a little bit more upbeat.
No. I think
I had a sleep study. I had a sleep study last night, so I'm moving a bit slow today, and I'm a bit cantankerous. So I'm not really my animated self, but yeah.
Oh, don't worry, mate.
Don't worry. Have a rest. No game this week. Get yourself back up for West
get
Ham.
yourself fit for next week.
Yeah.
Astro,
I'll be ready. I'll be lit, fit, and ready to start some shit by next week.
Man. There you go. Astro, nice one as ever, mate.
See you, mate.
See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Oh,
top man as always. Danny says none of these players hate to lose. Maybe Pickford, maybe. The rest have proved they're not asked if we lose. If you hate to lose, then you fight for absolutely everything. That's kind of like the top and bottom of it, isn't it? Really. Steve P says, Baz, what are your thoughts on Brayton Diaz? I think he'd be the good fit for us. Need to go back to signing players from the Championship. Look at Olise for Crystal Palace at 18 million is at 8 million rather, was an absolute steal. Diaz is a weird one at Blackburn, isn't he?
Yeah, first big season, isn't it?
He's had, good season.
Do you think that's though because he did get the call up and he is playing with better players and he is seeing? Because this is the other thing with like the Championship I always find is that I think there's a lot of good players in it, but they get stuck with like they play all those games, they're maybe not playing for a good side, and they don't get that chance to elevate themselves, because it's just the plod of playing game.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether because he's gone away with Chile and played for them, and he started mixing with better players and seeing that there's a bigger world out there, that maybe he's gone, oh, I'm actually a better player. And because he's playing with better players, he's brought that back to Blackburn. Because it can't be a coincidence that he's got better as he's played for Chile.
Of course, yeah. I mean, just 20 goals in 30 games. Been out injured, hasn't he? He's only just come back. 22 years of age, so he's a good age.
Yeah, great age.
So, I mean, the only thing I'd say is Adam Armstrong was really good in the Championship for Blackburn. He's gone to Southampton and he scored against us.
He has. But what about someone like Che Adams?
No, well, yeah, but even he's not prolific. He's been in the Premier League.
No,
for 3
but
years,
he looks like a Premier League player now, doesn't he?
Yeah. So, yeah, listen, I wouldn't be... You're absolutely right, Steve. These are the type of players who we should be looking at. There's no question about that. Because we've looked too far the other way, which has been the problem why we are where we are. This is what David Moyes did. You know, like you say, Crystal Palace. Ped was talking about them the other day, and that's what Palace have done, haven't they? Gone and got some Championship players. Leicester have done the same. So there is lads down there who can do the job, who are hungry. I like Joe Worrell of Forest. I haven't been linked with him a lot. Centre back. So yeah, why not? You know, would I rather see Ben Brereton, Diaz?
Would you rather see him than Rondon?
I was going to say than Salomon Rondon. Then 100%. I would 100%. Because one's almost at the start of his career and one's at the end of his career. You know, Rondon's 25, trying to make his way in the game, battling for everything and a bit quicker. Then yeah, but not now. So you know, and Diaz might come in and be a 12 goal a season centre forward.
Yeah,
and knock people about and all. It's not amazing.
I'd kill you for a 12 goal a season.
You know
player.
What I mean? I'm saying. Over the last few years, Richie and Dom have got more than that. So I'm saying if you had him and he was,
but if that's your second, third choice striker,
why not? And he's hungry. He's gonna wanna. He's
free at the end of the year.
Hasn't he got a year left?
Has he got a year left?
Just see if there's anything on the contract thing. I know they were talking about. Let's see if it says. I think he might have a year left on his deal. Because they had that with Adam Armstrong last year, didn't he?
That's probably why I'm thinking that.
I think he might have another 12 months.
Swap him for Rondon.
Yeah, Rondon do all right at Blackburn.
Be amazing.
Isn't Bruce the Blackburn manager?
Who?
No, it's not Steve West.
No, he's West Brom.
Blackburn. Oh, it's Thingy's Blackburn manager.
Tony Mowbray. Tony Mowbray.
Does it say? No, it doesn't say there. But they're like Blackburn are looking at other options. They're looking at some free transfers in case he goes. Because obviously there's a little bit of buzz about him now, isn't it?
He's going to move.
So he'll move. So why not?
Why
not?
He's got a fancy name.
They're the choices, yeah. But they're the choices we have to make, aren't they?
You wanted to sign it, Diaz.
There you go. Keith Powell says here, what do you reckon to Michael Ball's comments on Frank? Who is he to dictate future practices? He wasn't up to much. Yeah, but he's an Evertonian, isn't he, Keith? And he's played the game and he's played at a good level. And we're doing it, you're doing it, people are doing it. We're all just giving an opinion, aren't we, on what happens and what Michael Ball's doing. Michael Ball's saying in his day, this is what happened. This is how they got reactions out of place.
I quite like what he said.
Yeah, I do. I think
basically what he said was, in his day, he said, well, what would happen is, if you wanted a reaction from the players, you'd say to them, right, today we're wearing shin pads and training. He said it's full contact.
Off we go.
And he said sometimes we put money on it. He said, you know what? Nothing motivates footballers than telling them there's money involved. Because they all, even though it might only be a small amount or it mightn't really matter to them, it's that will to win. But I don't know how many of our players have that will to win. That's half the problem, isn't it? They're happy just picking the money up. But what he was saying is he had played in Holland, PSV. He said he did it. He said, you know, today, you need a reaction, right? Put your shinnies on, because we're going full contact. And your players will go out and give it a good go. I don't know. There's got to be different ways, isn't there? Because ultimately, these players are staring down. They had number one, they had a semi-final, a chance of a semi-final.
His contract's up in June.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah. Going to Wembley, playing in a semi-final, who knows, right? And they turn up and give that. They're playing in big games. They know what the future holds for this football club if they don't get out of this, and what the future holds for them as footballers. Or certainly at the moment, it leaves them, and where are they? Who's to say that Everton, who's to say someone like, Ben Godfrey or whoever is at Everton at the moment, and Everton were like, you're not going anywhere, mate. You're staying with us. We're not selling you. We're keeping you for at least another year. Yeah, maybe at the end of next year we'll sell you, but we're not selling you this year. So you're coming the Championship with us, son. And you. Let's see what that does to your career. Yeah. Everton might just say, no, we just sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin and that's it. We don't need to.
That's enough.
We don't need to sell anyone else. We're trying to keep this team together, and we're trying to get promoted if the worst happened. Yeah. You're staying, son, for another year. Don't think you're going anywhere.
Yeah. Don't be under any illusions.
So
off you go.
Yeah.
Richard, just click the link on Patreon.
There's a link on the top.
Ralph says, all right, lad, great laugh this afternoon. How's Tom Davis? Haven't heard him mentioned for a while.
He's out.
Would you keep him or let him go?
He's out for the rest of the season. Out for the rest of the season. And again, we said this loads of times. Tom Davis is a player we could have massively done with this season. This second half of the season.
In the midfield,
sitting in front of the back four and just getting the ball and passing it. And we were talking before, there's a video online of Lewis Warrington, obviously young lad on loan at Samia, and people saying, oh, look, he looks really good, he's doing this and he's doing that. The things he's doing are no different from the things Tom Davis did for Everton. Keeping it nice and simple, getting the ball, moving into space and giving it. Nothing fancy. And that's, whether you like Tom Davis or you don't like Tom Davis, either come in very, very handy this back half of the season. Yeah. Massively handy.
And Lewis might go on to be a much better player than Tom Davis. Hopefully he will. Yeah. But yeah, there's those attributes. What about Jean-Philippe Gbamin getting man of the match and scoring at the weekend for
well, again, CSK? People losing their heads over that.
No, but it's good though, isn't it?
It's great for him. Great for him. Listen, the kid needs to play games of football.
I hope he has man of the match most weeks.
Yeah, and he should do. He's playing in a. Well, I mean, it's hard to know what's going on in Russia, obviously, and there's lots of different things that we could talk about in terms of whether. But he's playing. He's getting his fitness back. He was never going. Don't forget, this was a lad who was out for 2 years, and then he's in and he's out, and then you never see him again, and he's back, and then coming off the bench for 15 minutes. That lad needs to play serious. His body's got to remember what it's like to play football.
Yeah.
So,
Rick says Dom needs to leave because just not good enough. If Arsenal want him, it's payback time for them. He's a waste of space.
He's not a waste of
space.
space.
Rick. I don't agree with that.
Rick, you've always had an agenda against Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let's not half-arse it here, mate. You've always had an agenda against him. So let's not pretend that you didn't.
He's not a waste of space, but if he wanted to go, then maybe he's the one who you sell because you can get money for him. In an ideal world, you wouldn't sell him because the lad scores goals. Yeah. He's a good player. Niall says, all right, lads, just become a patron, being a fan for a while. Can't wait to listen to all the extra content. It's right, Niall, top man. The appointment of Benitez against the wishes of the fans should have been a final straw against this board after years of gross mismanagement. In parts of continental Europe, board, management, players literally get physically run out of football clubs in similar situations. This club is only going one way under Mashiri and Kenwright. There has to be constant, severe protest until they're gone. We
boo our players or we boo whatever, and people go, oh, that's too much. And the countries, their clothes get burnt or there's protests at the training ground or whatever. They get off very easy here. Very, very easy. The culture is completely different, obviously. Some people say it's civilised. Some people say whatever. Yes, this should. The end of the season, no matter what happens, Mashiri should take a massive, massive step backwards and never concern himself with anything that goes on the pitch or off the pitch even. And the chairman should be replaced. Give Bill Kenwright some stupid title, club president, whatever. I'm not interested. And if he wants to go to the Finch Farm and tell stories of the boys' pen and all that, do it in that capacity. I find it embarrassing that our chairman had to go to Finch Farm and had to speak these certain words and all. I find that massively embarrassing. I find it embarrassing from the footballers' point of view that the footballers had to sit there and listen to that, and that's what to get a win under their belt. I find it massively embarrassing. But he needs to go. Denise Barrett-Baxendale needs to go. And they need to be replaced. And I've said this a million times, and I've been saying this for 11, 12 years, by the way. They need to be replaced by someone out there who is literally the cream of the crop. If you're going to spend money on players, if you're going to spend money on a director of football and a manager and the coaches and the play and all the rest of it, why have we got people running our football club who are not fit for purpose, that don't have the contacts, that aren't within the sphere of the top end, the top echelon of people out there? Go and headhunt someone from a huge brand, whether it be someone like Nike, whether it be like Liverpool did with EA, someone who knows the in and outs of football at the moment, because all we do is just shuffle the chairs, don't we, on the Titanic, and that's it. And as I said, that's nothing personal. I just don't think these people could run a piss up in a brewery as far as I'm concerned, and I think this season proves it. The owner hasn't got a clue. The chairman is stuck either in the 80s, the 90s, or the early 2000s. And the Denise Barrett-Baxendale's just not competent enough. And I was, do you know what I was thinking about this the other day? I was thinking about this. We were talking about it. Obviously, we always talk about it. But I was thinking of like the football club, and if someone was to question me on why I don't think he's good enough as a chairman or as anything to do with this football club, just go back to the King's Dock. Go and remind yourself of the King's Dock. Go back and remember that was practically boxed off, and all we had to do was produce £30 million, and there was money there. You had Paul Gregg was there, and Ken Wright was basically couldn't find the money and was too selfish to pass the club off to somebody else to get the money. We lost the opportunity for an absolute world-class stadium in the heart of the city before your Manchester Cities of the world had their stadiums, before Liverpool had done all their redevelopments, part way between Man United doing all their redevelopments. We had an opportunity at the right time, the early 2000s, to put ourselves above right now a City, a Chelsea, a Tottenham, Liverpool in terms of the finances. Liverpool weren't bringing in much. And all there was at the time really was Manchester United and Arsenal. And Arsenal obviously left Highbury for the same reasons. And we had that opportunity, and he could not fulfil that opportunity. And if anyone wants a reason why, just go back to that. And yet he's still at our football club. And I'll never, ever, 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 ever see it any differently. I just can't. And he can bring all his theatrics and all the love, and he can puff out his chest and tell everyone that he loves Everton. I love Everton. Baz loves Everton. Ned loves Everton. Would you have Ned running Everton Football Club? There's a lot of people out there who love Everton, who absolutely love Everton, and you wouldn't have them running the football club. So why does he run the football club? I've no idea. So get rid of all of them. You get your pots and pans.
Throw them out.
Throw them out. Where's all the callers? Someone just said, how do you get on? Where are they?
2 of them off.
Come on then.
And they're not on. Come on, 20 minutes to go. Derek says, I truly believe Tom Davies would have made a massive difference to us this season. One of those players that fights. Tom Clare says, so sorry about Terry Darracott. I watched Terry work his bollocks off every time he played. He lived opposite my sister. What a decent guy. Used to throw parties for all the kids in the street. Can't imagine any of these doing that now.
I remember, obviously, when he was growing up, and when Colin Harvey came in as the manager, and obviously for me that was like the first real change that had happened at Everton. I remember him just putting like his coaching team together, and there was like obviously Mick Lyons, and there was Terry Darracott, and there was like obviously Reedy at first, and just like they were it used to make you laugh because they used to wear all the track. Obviously they wear them all now, but they have the trackies on, and then they'd have some of them have like the kit on, like Mick Lyons would have the kit on and stuff. It was dead weird, and like you'd see obviously pictures of them like at Wembley and stuff, and I don't know, there was just like didn't know much about Terry Darricott as a player, but obviously growing up in that era and seeing him with the coaches and stuff, and always, you know, he was synonymous with Everton when I was a kid. Yeah. Seeing him in those pictures, and yeah, very sad. Yeah, just one of those names is not someone that would, his name doesn't have, you know, huge gravitas in terms of football in the country or around the world or whatever, or winning stuff, but just as an Evertonian who grew up in the 80s, everyone, you would know who Terry Darricott was. He's just absolutely synonymous with.
Youngest player to have played for Everton on one stage.
Was he? Yeah.
17 years and 122 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
a
just
record for a bit.
Absolutely synonymous with Everton. Like so.
Played for Blackburn.
Went to he was coaching staff when they won the league, wasn't he?
Probably. Yeah.
I think he was. You know.
Back there. Yeah.
I think he was.
So really sad. Yeah. Peter Beryl says, I play football and to be honest was a pretty good player, but even when I didn't have the best game, I still worked hard. Even ripped my plaster cast off my wrist to play in the semi-final and then broke the other one.
Better not have been a goalie.
That wouldn't have been good, no. You've got to let your teammates know. Can't be doing that. We did. Basic Trick says, I believe if Tom had played in the 6, we wouldn't be in the mess we are. Everton FC 1878 says, what are your thoughts about Joe Worrell potentially coming to Everton and Richarlison maybe going? Worrell would be good.
Worrell will be good, but there'll be other teams after him, and also Forest. Forest are trying to get up, and if they do come up, they'll want to keep players like him, of course, because he's a good player. The problem is for players like that now, because of where we are in the league, even if we stay up, there'll be other teams out there who we'll be in competition for them with, a West Ham. You know, that's where Newcastle then come into play for players like that. You know, they start coming in, they start looking at those kind of players. Even the likes of Leeds will look for those kind of players. The Villa, I'm not saying they'll go after them, but what I mean is they're another one who we've put ourselves in a position now where we look at such straightforward signings in the last few years that we've already missed, I think, 2 or 3 Joe Worrells before, and now everyone's looking now, and that's the problem.
Michael O'Connell says we should get Red Bull to buy us so we can be called Red Bull Everton and get good recruitment and challenge for Europe every year.
We're obviously going to be called Red Bull, aren't we?
We couldn't have Red Bull in our name, could we, mate? Fans would be going berserk because red is in it.
I don't think you can do that in this country anyway.
I don't think you can change it, and therefore Red Bull, I don't think we'd be as attractive to them.
What if Red Bull came in and they said they wanted to call the new stadium Red Bull Arena? Do you think 100%. There'd be any issues with that?
No,
I'm just asking.
Be RB Everton.
Or we could do it like so it was like the Italian version, like they do in the Formula 1. So they have another team, and instead of called Red Bull, it's called the Italian for Red Bull. So we could have that, and that's blue. They're all blue.
There you go.
So, but yeah, could do that because obviously
all we've got to do is get them to do it.
Yeah, because obviously Barcelona have just been Spotify just come in, and they've put a shed load of money into them, but everything's going to be like. The stadium's going to be called the Spotify Camp Nou.
So was it the fella he was going to buy Arsenal?
Yeah, he's put all the money
into
it.
Put it there.
And there's going to be they're saying they're going to be all mad things, like the shirts are going to, like the sponsor's going to change every week to reflect like what songs are out. I know, yeah, like they might have like a might have that scan thing.
They'll have the thing and it'll just scan on it, or they'll change it.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a new download.
Imagine you can make the match and go like that and scan someone or scan them through the telly.
Yeah.
Like our QR code if you want to join Patreon. Right, we've got
seamless link.
No. John, where have you gone?
No, that's not.
Where's John gone?
John's not. John's not playing because Ned's probably
John
left them in escrow for ages.
Yeah, imagine that though. Imagine they had because he said they're going to do something that changes every week. So imagine, because you can get those Spotify codes, can't you? Yeah. Imagine they had a Spotify code, and through the telly you could just do that, and you get the song.
You get a song.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. See, that's the future, isn't it? Yeah. That is the interactive sponsors.
Could we do that and change some of our players? You just scan the thing, put a better player in or something. Change the fella.
We scan
as foot points,
we scan as at the quick
point, get foot points, train up, so the Charleston's shooting becomes better or something.
That's the way it's going though. It's horrible that though, isn't it? Barcelona a few years ago were sponsorless and all that, and now it's going to be called the Spotify Camp Nou. But that's weird the way. Obviously they've all got to
they want to try to catch up.
Is Stuart ready, or is he called Stuart ready?
He might be called Stuart Lowe.
Right, we've got Stuart. Hello, Stu, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah,
go on, mate.
Wonderful. Well, firstly, thanks for the opportunity that I had before to come on the sofa a couple of years ago. We did the double Sheffield teams at the time. We were doing Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup, and I think Sheffield United had just battered us 2-0. So it's like some things never change, do they? So I thought I'd, say cheers, guys, for the shows and everything, because I think they're all fantastic and they very much keep us going, especially when things look so grim at the moment. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. But generally speaking, as an Everton fan, I just feel cheated over the last God knows how many years. I've been a fan since 1982, and since the revival in the 80s when we actually won something, we've been garbage ever since. And I just feel cheated as an Everton fan, along with everybody else, and agree with lots of opinions that everybody's putting on here today.
Yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it? It does feel. It feels like we've all been cheated, Stuart. Tremendous fans. 4,000 of them made the journey down to Selhurst Park at the weekend and got given that, served up that display. The away fans who've gone every up and down the country all season have seen one away win, and that was the second away game of the season. Yeah. And that's how it makes you feel, doesn't it? It makes you feel shortchanged massively, that we, even with money, we haven't been able to progress, and that's the real kick in the bollocks. As
well, it is, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, since the pandemic, and since we were, since the dull days, the last 2 years of Martinez's tenure to this point, I've been so disillusioned as a fan. And it's the pandemic, the way Everton have, managed. They've been boarded by the board team, the owner, the supposed special billionaire that Ken Wright promised us. We've gone through umpteenth garbage players, and they have the cheek to walk off the football coach wherever we're going on a particular day, and you've got Iwobi and Holgate, and they've got their £1,000 headphones on, and they've got that cocky swagger like they've actually made it in life at 2021. And the fact that they've got so much money now and they can afford these Lamborghinis, it's almost like they actually do feel, because they've made it, and I think it's the mindset of the individuals, because they're not all that way, but I think because they're academic bred and gone through all the stages of progress through academies, it's almost insetting to a lot of them to be carried through, mothered through, breastfed through. It's ridiculous, but you've got that, you've got the pandemic, you've got Richarlison that can't stay on his feet. Just when you want players to dig in and stuff like that, you do not want Richarlison going down in and around the box now, because they're not going to give us anything now. So it's a long line of things that I feel cheated by, but I could go on all night. But I know you've got limited time on you. But yeah, cheated, mate.
No, I can't disagree, mate. Can't disagree. That's how it feels, and it's so frustrating. And all we can do, and all we do is live in hope, isn't it? Because if you haven't got hope, you've got nothing, and that's the only way we can, pray that we stay up, and then hope that Frank Lampard can start to turn the squad around and turn the attitude around in the summer and give us a brighter future than what it feels like right now.
Yeah, I think.
I think it's a case of. I think we need about a dozen minimum players out, and we need about 18.
Yeah.
So
Big
upwards
job.
of a dozen, and we can already count half a dozen players that are already going anyway, end of contracts, etc. And a lot of them will be gone, and that will release, the funds, to. Obviously, like you say, it depends what division we're going to be playing. We ain't got a clue about that at the moment, and that's the key thing. And we can't really discuss in depth progress and how we're going to do it until that has been established.
Yeah.
But it could take a while. I personally don't think we'll go down. I did if we hadn't have won at Newcastle. I think that was such a saving grace, because I'd already told myself that if we lost then, that's me done for this year, because I couldn't cope with seeing, even though I'm a blue forever and will never change my team, I couldn't cope with seeing what was unfolding in front of me every game as it passes by. And mental health wise, this whether it's a reality or not, it's a real thing for fans. It does have a massive effect on us.
Absolutely.
As you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's because of this, because it's the dramatic ups and downs as well, isn't it? You win on a Thursday night and you feel top of the world, and then on a Sunday, it comes crashing down with a completely different performance. And how can you? It's difficult to find that happy medium when you're in such a precarious place. People say, don't make the highs too high and the lows too low, but it's really difficult when you're in this kind of position. And also, if you're not used to winning during the season, then you are going to treat every win like it's huge, like it's a cup final and it's massive. And then it's just I think it's like, I don't know, I almost just want Everton to find their place. And I used to think I knew where Everton's place was in the sort of in the order of things, but now it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And as we find ourselves being overtaken by other football clubs who are just doing things the right way, and I just hope that the new director of football creates a plan, which is just nothing dramatic. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It just has to be a plan that brings in the right kind of players to play, hopefully, in the Premier League. Athletic players who can get round the pitch, who've got something about them, who care, and that's all I think it would take. And because you look at the teams vying for the top 7, and there's a little bit of talent in there, but most of the teams are just full of really, really athletic players, and you care, and that's what we've got to get ourselves to.
I couldn't agree with you more there. Couldn't agree, absolutely. And this Thelwell, we can only hope that he's somebody strong enough to say, once he's got his feet under the table and he's familiarised himself with a structure and and drawn this up, whether he can go to Mashiri and Ken Wright and say, you just can't do it that way, but will we find out he's like a Brands? We don't know if Brands were a yes man, because obviously you don't know what goes around in offices. You don't know what's said behind closed doors. You just really don't know. All we can do is dwell on the snippets that we get from yourselves, what little bits come on Twitter and whatever other media outlets that are there that gives the information, and most of it's garbage anyway, but we're sifting through for snippets because we really don't know, and we never will know. I don't think they will ever have that transparency, but we can only hope that this Thelwell will say, look, you need to take a step back, because how embarrassing is it now to, and we've gone through lots of different levels of embarrassment. It's almost like when you're in mourning, you go through those stages of mourning. But in football terms, we've seen, Moshiri come in and we've like championed him and everything like that right at the beginning. And what he's tried to do is what Chelsea did by buying what he thought were so-called ready-made expensive players in 26, 27-year-olds like Balassis and, absolute dross like that. Your Sigurdssons and things like that. And the thing was, there were no structure to what it were buying, so it was inevitable it were going to fall apart. But we just sat back, let it unfold, because we couldn't do anything about it. And we thought if they're making those decisions, they've got to be right decisions, surely. If it's coming from the top, that he's allowed to do that. And I remember the Red Men and Liverpool fans were absolutely slating us at the beginning, thinking we're buying like Sandros and all this type of stuff, and they're like, and I absolutely loved, like everybody else, YouTube clips of players like Sandro, which is absolutely shocking to think we still do that. But they were riled at us for attempting to buy our way into trophies and success and stuff like that, even though we've scrimped and scraped for 20 odd years, 25 years since it up until that point. And then obviously it never happened. They got Klopp, and then we're $500 million in debt, and we'll never get that chance again to spend 300 million. That'll never happen again in our lifetimes. So certainly with FFP and new Premier League rules coming into play, that's never going to happen, because they'll always stretch the rules and policy and regulations to make sure we can't tap on that glass ceiling. They don't want us to. So
absolutely.
Good times.
Sorry.
Good times.
You've depressed me now, but that's fine, Stu, because you've had your say, and that's fine. It's your show, and that's good. That's what it's about.
There we go. I think Stu just fell off the couch.
I do think he's had enough.
I think he fell off the couch.
Nice one, Stu.
Nice one, Stu.
Thanks for
See
phoning
you later.
in.
Thanks, mate. He did sound like he just literally fall
or
off the
his
couch.
phone fell. I think probably his phone's fell, and that's been the end of it.
That's it.
Alex Gray said he told his dad if Everton beat Newcastle, he would become a patron.
Okay.
And good to his word, he's a patron. Big one.
There
Big
you
up, Alex Gray.
There you go.
So top man.
Alex Gray.
That's right. Alex, great name as well.
It does sounds like maybe a spy.
Do you think?
Yeah, like a spy, but in like a young adult book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
No,
who has like a person looking after him, female, late 30s.
Like as his mind.
As his mind, yeah.
Like
like as
his what's it they call holders, right? No, what they called?
Yeah.
Handler.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's like quite a cool looking fella.
Yeah, early 20s. Well, no, late teens.
Late 19.
She'd get a game.
Good lad, doing well. You'd always wonder if the handler and him, you never know. He's a bit young, you never know, but it's there. It's unwritten rule. Very much not like Ned. Niall says, I agree with your caller there regarding the Charleston. He needs to focus more on creating something rather than drawing a foul for the defender. He needs to stop throwing a strop when things don't go for him. Still young and is an incredible player waiting to break out, but he needs to mature mentally. There you go. And our internet's being terrible, so when I'm trying to refresh these comments, they're quite simply not coming through. So, yeah.
There you go.
So, there you go, yeah. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
We're done.
It's time to go.
Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. It's much appreciated.
It is.
Basic Trick says, like Alex Ryder.
Well, very much like Alex Ryder. Very much like Alex Ryder, but just not for copyright purposes. Not Alex Ryder.
Alex Gray.
Yeah.
Better name as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We've had Knight Rider. Why have we gone to Alex Ryder? Or Pale Rider. There's been a lot of riders around. I think Alex Gray.
Easy Rider.
There you go.
There you go.
So I think really it's Alex Gray's time.
To shine.
To shine.
With his handler.
Maybe.
Anyway, if you're on Patreon and you haven't watched the Daily Live Extra, go and watch it. If you want a bit of a laugh, it's up there.
Oh my God.
Up there. Honestly, it is up there. It's a video for the ages.
It is for the ages, yeah.
For the absolute ages.
Just for getting over the defeats. Because it's hilarious. Ned at his finest. So, do it.
Yeah. There you go.
Do it.
Right.
Take it easy.
See you all later.
Bye. Pay 6 3.